Alright guys, we're back with the second set for Heroes of the US and 104 this time around. And we'll see if they'll be able to keep up this trend, get themselves another domination victory, or if 104 will show Heroes of the US that they're the top dogs in Div B. And we're going to kick it back to an old familiar map. You may have seen this many moons ago. And let's go see how this progresses. Because we're going back to Doom of the Spider Queen. We on repeat. First map of the series once again. Doom of the Spider Queen. Choice of 104. And first pick once again was the choice of Heroes of the US. So we're going to see this Stukov ban, and as we heard in the interview, they're not very big fans of the Stukov facing it, so banning it makes it much easier to deal with. So at this point, there's a lot of choices available to ban out. Urel, definitely a good ban. Raynor, not too bad. An Asmodin on this map could be a solid ban. And Malfurion will be banned out. So what they're saying is, you either pick up Deckard Cain now, or we pick up Deckard Cain. And if you do not pick up Deckard Cain, well, we get Deckard Cain and someone else. So I really like this play by 104. They've essentially choked the support out from underneath Heroes of the US to a certain degree, because Deckard Cain is definitely the best choice overall, and they're going for the long game here. They've even taken out Deckard Cain. We're going to see something crazy, because obviously at this point, Deckard's gone, Stukov's gone, Malfurion's gone. Who do you go to? Karazim? Alexstrasza? Maybe even a Lily? Because I'm certainly not ready for that kind of adventure. And a noob. Nubarak is going to be banned on out here. And well, it's interesting. I'm not sure. Are they going for Cho'Gall here? Is that what they're aiming for? And that's why they're support choking, because they're going to go for maybe Ana, Oriel, even Alexstrasza, and that's their play. And once again, here's the US are prioritizing very heavily the Johanna. So I'm not sure how I like it as a first pick, but we're going to get Alexstrasza and Blaze. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Cho'Gall the next turn around, especially with the Alexstrasza Blaze and no bug to cocoon Cho'Gall, or dive back onto someone else to cocoon like the Alexstrasza. And they're pretty much repeating their draft down to the T from last game. There's the Gul'dan, and there's the Leo. We should very likely see potentially a Tracer pick here. They showed they would play Tychus as well, so they're quite flexible on who they will play in place of for their last and final pick. And obviously, they have been studying, or at least watched the last game, and are like, yeah, we're not going to let you play the Tracer. And Diablo ban I like, but I feel like Cho'Gall is definitely still a possibility, unless the bug was really a ploy to make him waste a ban on Cho'Gall. But then again, you've wasted your own ban on Nub. Yeah, Genji coming on out to slice and dice Gul'dan and Muradin. So they aren't going to do anything cheeky, which then begs the question, why did they choose to ban Nubarak? And that's going to be a lingering question here for me. Now, the final pickups are going to be Rhaegar and Hanzo. I'm not sure how I feel about the Rhaegar and Hanzo. Well, Rhaegar I'm okay with, especially with how much they've choked them out in supports. Johanna will be walking into the wave anyways, clearing it up, and Rhaegar will help clear it up now even more with Gul'dan. Hanzo, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. It is good Dragon Arrow opportunity with Alex Straza causing everyone to group up. And the thing is, there are definitely some good angles you can get for your Scatter Arrow to really get people down. But Hanzo is actually fallen off a bit in terms of like his success rate after all his nerfs. In the final pickup here being Jaina is going to be interesting because Jaina provides the burst, which then allows people to allows the Genji to follow up to turn people into chop suey either with the X strike as an escape or a tool to dish out the additional damage, or even um, Dragon Blade, which has pretty much fallen out of existence in part due to all the nerfs it faced, and also the meta shift. Now, I'm liking what 104 has here. It looks pretty good. We have seen Waterboy face Blaze in 2 matches, so he's already been warmed up nicely for it. The question though is, will the change with the Rhaegar and the Hanzo be enough to keep them in this game and push out a major advantage like their first game in the series with Stitches Be Crazy? Or will this new foe they've encountered, 104, be enough to take him down and cause some civil war amongst the heroes of the US? So we'll be getting in the game very shortly here. I'm going to give the game, early game, over to 104. The late game, depending on how Hanzo does, is going to be potentially in Heroes of the US's favor later on. So jumping into the game now, we got Blaze on the Hanzo, Jub on the Rhaegar, Waterboy, TKD living that undead skeleton life on Leo, Andrew living the Gul'dan life, and Watson all about some Johanna. And that is going to be Heroes of the United States. On the other side, we got Danup on the Genji. We have a Leo Rice on the Jaina. We have a Linkin Park on the Muradin. And we have Cheat Fu on Blaze. And finally, Key 108 on the Alex Straza. And that is going to be 104. So, traditional footsie battle in the mid lane is coming on out. We have the Redemption as the pick here. I don't know what they're going to get. If they're going to lose these gems, though, early gems lost. Not exactly the greatest situation. We will see the Colossal Totem, the Laws of Hope, the Corruption, and Consume Vitality. Other side, we have the Circle of Life, the Fingers of Frost, Third Wind, Swift as Wind, and Adrenaline Stimpak. A nice engagement there in part by Linkin Park with the Genji follow-up by Danup. So they get some additional poke damage there, and well, they're calling it a day for now. Linkin Park taking that damage, not really a big deal. He does have Third Wind, so honestly his goal is to make him burn resources on him. Taking a look at the bot lane, however, we got Waterboy, who has started to win it well enough that he can go and actually turn in the meantime. And that's even without the Neil Peasants that is also available later on. So with Rhaegar and his Earth Shield, it makes it real easy to clean this up, especially if they counter rotate, which might be the advisable thing in the beginning of the game for him, just because they have good wave clear, but actually a weak early team fight. Linkin Park coming onto Blaze. Not going to really amount to too much. Iron Skin has been popped already. We do have the deflect. Linkin Park very far forward. Will be able to get out in time with his leap. And we have Leo, who's taking a chunk, but Alex Strazo will keep him topped off mostly. And Linkin Park having that third wind will be fine and dandy. However, Genji will have to back on off and tap it on up. Stormbolt thrown on out. Going to be a swing and a miss. And Force hit a little bit earlier for the side of Hero of the United States. Now, we just are going to close that poll in the meantime. And the poll favors 104, 3-2. But that's not too much in their favor based on the Twitch viewer votes. So, Force have been picked up. We are going to get explosive arrows. Okay, that's fine. There's not as much to do here with the serrated arrows and the simple geometry not being picked up. Clearly, you're not going to pick that. And we can still see the never outmatched, however. So that way you can keep pumping out the damage. We will get the Stormcaller, Sin's Exposed, we consume Soul, and finally Kneel Peasants, which means now we get a significantly better clear. But Danup coming on down, but he is a ghost and can just Wraithwalk on out. On the other side, we do have a Surge of Vitality, the Frost Shards, a Thunderburn, Strike at the Heart, and finally Oil Dispersal. Johanna trying to turn this in, not going to be able to because Danup can go and just poke him pretty much all day long. So really, they just need to keep up with the rotation. You can see that by trying to turn in, they've actually lost some of their rotation control and are starting to take some minor damage onto their structures. Blaze taking a bunch of damage, will hop on over that wall and call it a day. In the meantime, Watson will have turned in the bot side, which now means he just needs to protect for his team, keep the waves pushed in, and make it so that they cannot interrupt, or choose, do they interrupt or take structure damage? And this will be first turning going over to Heroes of the United States. So very nice job on their part. And like I said, they should have actually had a little bit of a rougher time because Hanzo doesn't come online until post level 4 really. And so you're playing at that point for level 4, and that level 4 now online means that they can clear stuff up insanely fast. Leo taking a bunch of damage. Key will keep him topped on off as Andrew is just poking on down with that corruption. So first Web Weaver phase, they're going to focus on the top. We already have ourselves a 4v4 for controlling this top. Mid will be pushing in slowly and steadily, and Waterboy will be having a field day, cleaning it up in the bot lane. Now, they don't have a lot of pressure, and Lincoln will actually be almost annihilated by the corruption. And Key, in turn, will actually have to be back off as Watson comes on in, smacks her in the face, and tries to put her in her place. But at this point, front wall completely down. Lincoln is really low, and the Gul'dan into Alex Straza is fantastic because you're basically saying, I'm going to hit you with a Q, and you're all going to take damage. And if you stay there, I will corruption you all, and you're basically going to lose all your effective healing immediately, if not take more damage. So at this point, Heroes of the United States putting on a little bit of a repeat of the last game. They have themselves 25 gems, not enough for a turn-in, but very good control of the map so far. They've opened up the top lane, they've got in mid lane, and they almost got bot lane completely. So taking a look, we have sharpened arrowheads coming on out. I don't know how I feel about this post-nerf, the sharpened arrowheads, but it'll make it easier for them to kill someone like Linkin Park. We also have the cleanse coming on out. We have the bound by shadow and a drain momentum. So Echo Corruption, not online quite yet. Still about a little over halfway there, but Janet is almost done with her Fingers of Frost, which is going to increase the damage output significantly. Now both teams pick up their night camps, and if you're not going to defend the night camp, it basically loses value. And as you saw, they now have their camp basically pushing in for free, allowing them to turn in the gems and deposit it into the bank. We also have a Given the Axe, the Ice Lance, the Perfect Defense, and finally Crossfire. The things are pretty slow and steady. Bot lane pushed on in. 35 gems about to be deposited. Oh, Waterboy's going to see this, though. Gets the interrupt. That is big to prevent him from getting that turn. And now they have the ability to keep fighting for 10 and then defend with their 10 advantage. So at this point, you can't really turn in for another 10 to 20 seconds. And really, Waterboy just needs to sit in the bush, watch, and they need to keep the pressure on the lane simultaneously, with one member keeping an eye out for the top turn-in. So Linkin Park taking a chunk of damage there, not too big a deal as he can retreat on back. The Blessed Shield coming out quite early. The arrow will land. Avatar has been popped as tents have been reached. Dragon has been used, and now all they have to do is back on off, because the dragon, basically doing nothing, comes on out, is popped, and it is 100% wasted. However, there's the cleanse. Iron Skin coming on out. And we have Waterboy on the back with the Entomb. Not going to matter because the bunker is dropped, keeping them all fine and dandy. So a lot of heroics have been burnt already. Ancestral still available. We're going to have Blessed Shield back up very shortly. And they kind of dissuade him from getting the turn-in temporarily, as is. Shifu will actually have to back, and Danup will cover the lane along with Key. And we'll have another 9 deposit in the bank. So slowly but steadily, Waterboy getting them the next Webweaver. And this is very nice from Heroes of the US. Keeping them from getting the turn in, keeping the lanes all pushed up, and simultaneously getting very close to getting their own turn in. We have Danup playing a ward here, but not going to be able to turn in, as well they can break out into a fight at any point. We actually had the Dragon's Arrow come connect and help secure the kill. A little bit of T-Tours as we watch the fight in the bot shrine. So this is going to 100% force them back. At this point, they get a turn in, they get the bot for it, and they can call it a day. This is very bad for the side of 104. Obviously, Stitches was all alone in not respecting the fact that there's all that damage available to knock him off his high horse if he was mounted on a horse. Now, that's kind of the power of the sharpened arrowheads. To be fair, it takes a lot of stacks to actually reduce it. It's 10 autos. And they're going to pick up another one. The Entomb coming on out. The Ancestral has been used. The X-Ray coming on out as well. Genji in no man's land. Linkin Park is going to be able to hop on out here very shortly. But they pick up another critical kill in the meantime. Very nicely done. The Blessed Shield coming on out. The rest of the team is not there to follow up, though. And Watson getting a little too aggressive for the rest of his team. Bot lane pushing on in. Mid lane pushed on up. Top is going to push in for free, and so they're going to look for potentially an early keep here. They don't have the man advantage. They do have Ancestral and Dragon's Arrow ready to go if they should need it. If they pick up a kill here, this is very likely to be a keep. We do have all 5 here, and they're actually going to play safe, back on off, and call it a day. They can actually rotate up to boss. If they took down that wall, it would have made the rotation up to boss very safe and simple. However, I think they're just going to bait the enemy team here, play around here, and call it a day. Because at this point, top is the one pushed in, which means it's an easy rotate over to start the boss. So they're going to bait this out, hope they come on up, or maybe not. Okay, they're starting the boss. I don't like this call, especially with Hanzo build that they have. They'll be spotting this out, 14 to 12. They do have the talent advantage, and they'll be walking on back. Lincoln, all alone temporarily. We'll see Leo here as well, and they'll be turning in. This is... Oh, no! Watson didn't have his blind up to interrupt there. The turn-in happens, the bunker comes on out along with the Entomb, turn-in successful, and no one goes down. But the Horrify coming on out, Lifebinder's going to save the day. Leo's going to have to back off, and a lot of heroics have been burnt on the side of Heroes of the US and the side. Oh, the Dragon's Arrow coming on out, Waterboy will still remain up. And that is still even more heroics burnt to try and take down one member. Now, top getting cleared up really, really fast. Bot lane was pretty far back, and so the best they're going to get right now is the mid. They are going to take down this well. They do have the opportunity to siege here. They don't have a talent advantage at this point, so this is a very dangerous fight to try and take, especially with everything there. But they are underneath, therefore. There's the Entomb coming on out onto Shifu, the drain as well. Bunker not being used as it's not really needed, as there's no pressure on the side of Heroes of the United States to really force the hand of the bunker, or the hand of Blaze to drop the bunker. Now, they don't get mid. They will, or should, very shortly if they continue pushing as a team, if they spot out where they are. And unfortunately, they don't remain together. They aren't able to get much of anything. In fact, they don't get a single fort. And so they're still behind in XP. And this is not looking good since 16 is around the corner. Really, they want to wait till 16s are online so they can fight at equal level. Nice stun coming out from Shifu. Dragon has been popped. We got Danim coming on deep. The Essential will connect onto Andrew. And Linkin Park taking a ton of damage. Bunker has been used. Noah jumping into it. But Horrify keeping him from joining Shifu in the bunker. And Leo trying to save himself with the bunker. But it will be for naught. And 2 members have already gone down with Waterpoi chasing still. Dragon's Arrow still available. And it looks like we're going to call that a day. So let's take a look at that again. We have the engage from Shifu, the dragon being popped. So 104 looking like they want to actually fight this. Like committing to the fight 100%. But the turn, the bunker is used and no one jumps in it other than Blaze himself. And then the Horrify preventing any further follow-up into the bunker. Absolutely beautiful. So, Boss is going to march on down. They have the turning simultaneously. This is going to be a huge win for Heroes of the United States. They hit 16s. They have Boss. And, yeah, this is good. Oh, Dragon's Arrow coming on out, hitting Muradin. The Entomb coming out as well. He should be able to leap. The stun onto Muradin. It's going to be enough to escape with that leap just in time from the Lifebinder. Super close. With the boss here, Web Weaver's about to come all the way across. We have the towers down and a Web Weaver coming on in tow now as well. Avatar down, X-Strike and Bunker still available, but we have Ancestral popping on up and Horrify is still available as well. Linkin Park, there's the Horrify, going to send him out from the heal, but it's not really needed and not really useful at this point. Leo taking so much damage, the Corruption and the Web Weaver here, and Keep will 100% be going down. At this point, Heroes of the United States are running away with this game. They have the 16 advantage. They have a keep down. They're going to go for this mid keep as well. And there's not a lot they have to worry about. Entomb is available, looking for it at this point. Leo walking forward, but they need to be really, really careful about that. Waterboy getting Leo. There comes the Blessed Shield on top of him. And there's the arrow on top, executed perfectly by Heroes of the United States. They will not be divided, and they will get this keep very shortly, and it'll be a 1-for-0 trade. This is looking almost even better than their first game against Stitches Be Crazy. They have 2 keeps down, they've taken only 1 death, and the execution on those chain deaths are looking really solid. So now we have a ton of macro pressure. There's top being pushed in, mid being pushed in, bot which is going to have the siege pushing in, mid which is going to have the knights pushing simultaneously with the catapults. They are going to have to clear 3 lanes simultaneously as a team. And they don't have 3 heroes who can wave clear with them as a team. So mid can push in and they can potentially end the game here. Linkin Park. Oh, Linkin Park is in no man's land. He will have the leap to go on over. The Dragon's Arrow is going to completely whiff. And we're going to call that a day. A win for 104 as nothing lands to keep Linkin Park locked down. Now, bottom is going to be sieged up, and with Ego Corruption, this is insane amount of damage. Watson trying to peel on off, Waterboy coming on in to reduce all their damage, and the engage is still going on. They're trying to slice on through onto Gul'dan. Clint's coming on out to keep him from being sold to Horrify on top. Blaze does get the Lifebinder, but Danup trying to escape. He does. Simple geometry, baby, has been calculated, and Blaze takes down the Genji, and this is now a 4v5, and they are still looking for more blood. Key about to be going down here, has to run out of his own heal as Alex Straza is basically 100% countered by Gul'dan right there, and we now have 2 members down. This is going to be Shifu going down, slowed on down, caught with the corruption stacks, and now Heroes of the UNES of the United States are looking to finish this game out strong. 8 kills to 1, the arrow coming out from Blaze, but it's not going to matter. They have just stomped that bottom fight hard and long enough to secure themselves the win. Leo trying his best, but it's all going to be for naught with 6 catapults and 5 members of Heroes of the United States coming on in and beating the snot out of the core. So one of my main concerns was how the early game would go. The early game actually didn't go that well for 104. It wasn't bad, but it didn't go as well as I was expecting them to do. Now, if we take a look at damage numbers, Hanzo 60k, Gul'dan 56k, Jaina 44k. They had no one competing with damage on the side of 104. That is a 12,000 damage difference, and then a 16,000 damage difference. And that's a lot of damage difference. And if we go look at the healing done as well, this is a 13,000 damage difference. So we have a combination of problems occurring. The team didn't dish out enough damage on 104. They also weren't healed enough. So while they're dishing out significantly less damage, they're also taking significantly less damage, or taking significantly more damage, and aren't being healed nearly as much to compensate for taking all that damage. And if we look at the tanking numbers, Linkin Park, by far and away, 106,000 damage taking, 3rd win value, baby. Unfortunately, he also was caught out a few times being too aggressive, overstaying in the fights, and was punished for that as well. So game number 1 going to Heroes of the United States once again on Tomb of the Spider Queen 242 tonight. So sit on tight, we'll be right back, and we'll have some replays for you all to enjoy in the meantime.